So this is being recorded and uploaded on March 1st, as you can see from the thumbnail. As of yesterday, February 28, 2025, the BOI filing, the Beneficial Ownership Interests filing report from the Corporate Transparency Act has again run into some trouble and been delayed again. This was reported by FinCEN, which is basically like a government agency that has been tasked with enforcing this filing report. So literally as of yesterday, at the time of this recording, the BOI filing has yet again been pushed back and delayed until further notice. So really quickly, a couple updates around this, and then like some suggestions for those who may be in business, some important keynotes to keep in mind around this BOI filing and how it can kind of be detrimental for small businesses and things like this. Legislation and bureaucracy like this can be devastating for small businesses. And then overall, just kind of a follow-up wrap-up. This isn't going to be too long, but those of you who may be new, I am a licensed certified financial professional. I am a banker by trade, retail banking specifically. So I work with everyday, individuals, as well as high net worth individuals, as well as small businesses that have revenues about 5 million and under. So the BOI filing is right in my backyard for the clientele that I work with, those who are brand new to business, all the way up to those with 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, etc. in revenues on my clientele base. So that having been out of the way, the goal of this content is always to help you master banking, to help you master lending, so you can have a better grip on your finances and have better control of your future. The BOI filing has been something that has been bugging many of us since about spring or summer of last year in 2024. It started to roll out. They had deadlines that reached all the way up to the end of the year. And for some entities that had started their businesses in 2024, they had to file within 30 days in some cases, depending on the circumstances of their entity type and other details. This BOI filing is designated towards those who make 5 million in revenue and less. So if you started a brand new LLC with no revenue all the way up to 5 million in revenue, you are the one being affected if it's an LLC or an S or a C corporation, for-profit entity. You are the one that's being tasked with having to come up to produce the personal information and the other required information to meet this filing deadline. It was March 21st of 2025, the last time we got an update. Now this update has again been on a further notice type of basis. And so to be completely transparent, this is the type of bureaucracy that makes small business so difficult for so many of us. This is also the type of legislation and bureaucracy that puts somebody like President Trump in office. Whether you agree or disagree with it or not, at the end of the day, his stance on these type of things, generally speaking, is what gets people fired up behind his rhetoric. Because if I'm a small business operator, and again, you have to think, people who, entities that are 5, 10, and, million and up in revenues probably have their own stuff to deal with, own filings and stuff to keep up with. But they also most times are at a point where they have teams, they have accountants, they have attorneys on their team. They're in position to handle these kind of things when legislation rolls out. In our case, we're talking about entities that can be as small as a mom and pop, a lot of sole single member LLCs, individuals who are lawn care people, or somebody that sells jewelry, or whatever the case may be. Any of these small everyday businesses trying to survive, artists, whatever the case may be, are being tasked with the burden of having to file this information, file it correctly, and do so. Otherwise, they're risking potential jail time or significantly expensive fines. So we're going to keep on top of the updates as far as this BOI filing situation. Everybody's kind of hoping with the current administration that, this may end up getting kicked all the way out or, revised in some way. But at the end of the day, what I do recommend for any of you who are small business owners or are close to or know small business owners, for one, make sure that small business owners know. If you are a patron of a small business, if you have small business owners in your family or community, you will be stunned and astonished how many of these business owners don't even know the BOI filing is a thing because they don't have tax professionals and attorneys in their corner. They're not getting direct letters in the mail necessarily. This is something that's just kind of been pushed out. And if you haven't been in the know, you wouldn't even know it's a thing. And I'm a business banker by trade. I work with individuals and I work with small businesses for banking and lending and funding needs. So I work with them every single day. And I know firsthand, many of them are not even aware the BOI filing exists and are at major risk of putting themselves in position for fines and even potential jail time if push comes to shove. So make sure that any business you patronize, any business owner that or that's in your community, in your family, in your church, whatever the case may be, knows this BOI filing is a thing in the first place. The second thing I recommend is don't take for granted just because this keeps getting delayed and pushed out. that you're crossing your fingers hoping that it just completely goes away, that it will go away. Take the time out to learn how to file effectively. You can totally do so for free on FinCEN's website. So, and that's FICEN, is FinCEN. At the end of the day, you can do this on their website for free. And that's what I would recommend, or FINCEN, excuse me, FinCEN. But at the end of the day, this is something you can do for free. You don't have to pay somebody to do this. Do not fall for any scams trying to trick you into thinking that the only way this can get done is if you pay somebody else to do it. Now, you can find a legitimate entity and pay someone to do it, but it can be filed for free. It's not a very extensive, long thing. It's about a 5 to 10 minute application, or filing rather. Want personal information, want personal identification to be basically on record. But it is something you can do for free, and I recommend that you take the time out to try to get it done, or at least be on standby to get it done. You may be somebody who's opposed to it and doesn't want to put your personal information out there. Part of the reason you got into business or incorporated yourself was anonymity and privacy. And if that's the case, then I get it, but at least make sure you're in position to file in case this thing ends up passing through permanently. I am also dealing with the same thing. I've tried to file for my entities and ran into some hurdles with it. I haven't even been able to get in touch with FinCEN to find out what I may be doing wrong, or what about what I'm filing isn't working. But I am trying to do this for free without having to pay somebody to do it. So I recommend that you make sure that everybody who's a business owner around you knows. Number two, make sure that if it's you or whoever else, that they don't take it for granted and ignore it, and then messes around and gets pushed through permanently, and you actually have to meet this requirement. So I wanted to put that out there. The next thing, again, this is going to be extremely impactful for communities and small business owners. Now, the communities that small business owners serve, it can be really impactful because, again, you don't have a lot of accountants and attorneys on your team that are taking care of these things on your behalf. So when they come out, they can be daunting, they can be overwhelming. I know many business owners who can't even keep up with their state annual filing, just the basic state annual filing. Very inexpensive, very quick to do, but it's just one of those things that it's hard to keep top of mind. They don't do a good job of reminding you. So you can imagine adding this BOI filing into the mix in the taxing aspect of potentially having to deal with fines, or having to, deal with any kind of court or whatever the case may be, for not filing it effectively and in a timely manner. So this is the kind of thing that ends up leading to business owners being stressed out. Sometimes it even leads to business owners closing their doors because there's so much bureaucracy around everyday mom and pop businesses who are just trying to make a living. When you think about $5 million in revenue and less, this is not your, Deca centimillionaire business owner that, again, has massive teams around them and all the resources in the world. These are usually hardworking people providing a good or providing a service for their community in most cases, or the broader community of whoever they may be selling to online, that have might be doing their own taxes or have a very basic tax professional in their corner. They don't have the infrastructure and team around them to handle all of this bureaucracy and red tape. So, it really sucks that this kind of stuff gets passed through, and it gets passed through by the same people who will turn around and send money to some foreign country, on a blank check, or will have people who are not legally supposed to be in this country, able to vote and get a bunch of money in their pocket as soon as they get in. And I'm not trying to pick a side on the immigration situation, but I am being honest. At the end of the day, you want everyday, hardworking, well-documented, natural-born American citizens to provide all of this information and have to deal with all this bureaucracy to do and stay in business. But then you have scenarios when it's convenient for them, where they're allowed complete anonymity or privacy, or, completely turn a blind eye to the rule of law or civilization, civilized, organized forms of doing business when it's convenient for them, basically. So at the end of the day, I just want to give a quick update on this. I'm not going to get too far into my personal perspective or opinion. I don't agree with this filing. I will go that far and say that. But as a banker and a financial professional, and I deal with, as I say, small business owners on the regular, I want to make sure that any of you who yourself or anybody else that has registered LLCs or corporations, or real business operations, freelancing, under an or incorporated entity, whatever the case may be, knows full well that this filing exists. It is pushed back and delayed at the moment, but at any given time it can come back into place. Don't get caught sleeping. Make sure you're paying attention. Eyes up, ears open. Comment down below. Let me know any of your thoughts, your feelings, or perspectives on this BOI filing in the Corporate Transparency Act. Let me know if you're in business or if you know somebody who is. Let me know if you think this is advantageous and you get why they're doing it. Let me know if you're opposed to it and you think it's dumb. You think it's just more red tape to make it harder for business owners to do their thing. Comment down below. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. And I want each and every one of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.